Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing great. I took a small break from daily Leetcode challenge since I was supposed to attend few marriages and few engagements. Okay, so I can't skip. I was not supposed to skip those occasions, so I took a small break from Leetcode. Anyhow, let's continue our daily Leetcode challenges. Yeah, today we'll be solving Leetcode problem 2169. Count operations to obtain 0. You are given two non-negative integers, nums1 and num2. In one operation, if num1 is greater than num2, you must subtract num2 from num1. Otherwise, we have to subtract num1 from num2. Okay. So return the number of operations required either to make num1 to 0 or num2 to 0. Okay. Let's go to the example. Let's say num1 is 5 and num2 is 2. Okay. And if you see the constraints as well, each one is all the way up to 10 power 5. All we have to do is to just apply the brute force. Okay, in brute force also we'll do small optimization. Okay, so let me just tell you what I mean by, let's say num1 is 5 and num2 is 2. Okay, so since num1 is greater than num2, okay, we have to first subtract num2 from the num1. Okay, so we will go all the way until num1 is less than num2. Okay, so 5 minus 2, which will be 3, again 3 minus 2, which will be 1. Since 1 is less than 2, we cannot subtract further. Okay, our condition says we have to subtract num2 from num1 as long as num1 is greater than or equal to num2. Okay, so for a given num1 and num2, how many times we can subtract num2 from num1? That is basically the num1 divided by num2, which will tell you 2. Okay, so and once we have done these many operations, what will be the final state of num1 that can be obtained by doing the modulo operator? Okay, 5 modulo 2, which will be 1. So in the final state, num1 is 1 and num2 will be 2. Okay, here since num2 is greater than num1, we have to subtract num1 from the num2. Okay, so this will be 1 and 1 minus 1 will be 0. Okay, so if you can see, the total number of operations required will be 4 operations. As long as both the numbers are non-zero, we have to perform these operations. Okay, so let me jump back to the code and show you what I have written. Okay, so initially I've defined a variable called operations as 0. Okay, and since both the numbers are non-zero, okay, then I have to perform the operations. Okay, if num1 is greater than num2, then I have to calculate the operations required. Okay, that will be num1 divided by num2, and then the num1 will be in equal to the num1 modulo num2. Okay, if num1 is less than num2, then I have to perform this particular operations, and the final state of num2 will be num2 modulo num1. Okay, once any one of this 0 will become 0, then I have to return it. Okay, so then this loop will basically break and I will come out of it, and the final operations will contain the total number of operations required. Okay, so let me submit this problem. As you can see, it is pretty efficient. It has beaten 100% of the solutions. Yeah, so that's all about this problem. Do subscribe to my coding channel for more such coding videos. I have seen people viewing my videos but not subscribing. I highly recommend you to subscribe. Thank you.